Championship Sunday, let's go. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Sean Brace with you. And we are doing a ton on our YouTube channel. So for the folks that are checking this out on replay all the way up until kickoff, of course, 3 o'clock and 6:30 today. Thank you for watching, viewing. As always, comments. Love to read them after the fact and, of course, revisit them. And please subscribe. Let a friend know what we're doing over here on the Gambler YouTube channel. Off and running on a Sunday here in Philadelphia, of course. A lot of emotions. My wife, even this morning, we watched A Wild Robot. She cried a couple times throughout the course of it. Great movie, but come on, man. Crying over a robot in the wild, a cartoon robot at that. I kid. We're having some fun today, ready to go. Of course, we open up shop with the Eagles and the Commanders. Let's do that. We're going to keep this quick, about 8 total minutes, 4 on each. Got plays in all sides, totals, and a same game parlay that we hope will hit. Let's go. Only 3 games remain in the football season. Ouch. It was our first Saturday without football in our lives forever yesterday. So here we are. Let's enjoy them while we have them. 3 o'clock, as I said, game kicking off against or featuring the Eagles and the Commanders. Eagles at home, 6-point spread, 46.5 is our total in this one. Of course, these two teams have already met twice. You've heard that 100 times this week. 26-18 back in November, 36-33 back in December. And, man, the Commanders have been on a run. They won their 2 previous games to that against the Eagles. I think they have won now 7 straight games. So credit to the DC Commanders to put themselves into this position at this point in time. The thing I would say about the scores is, look, I know it's kind of something to throw up against the wall there, but don't you get the feeling like it's not going to be 36-33? That's a lot of points for a championship Sunday, especially featuring the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And then 26-18, is that a little light for you? It's kind of where I'm at. I'm somewhere in the middle between those 2 games. Full disclosure, if you're somebody out there pitching the idea that you know exactly how both of these games are going to play out, sides and totals, my hat's off to you. Credit to you, because everyone I know that's someone that is considered a sharp in the industry, locked in, does this stuff for a living, visits this stuff day in, day out, morning, noon, and night as you have to. They're all saying the same thing, that both of these games could go either way. I do feel a little bit more confident in the Eagles winning the game, but the almighty equalizer is the 6-point spread. There we go. Of course, DraftKings Sportsbook is where we're getting all of our numbers. Now, the thing I would say about this game, first and foremost, and I've been saying it all week, is the Eagles are a great team. They have shown us this from day one. The stats, everything there for them has shown us, has told us that. And as we roll into this game, of course, they're dealing with a little bit of an injury now with Cam Jurgens, so something to keep our eyes on that one. They're going to be shifting the offensive line all over the place. Read a tweet earlier this morning about the possibility of what could take place, and it does seem like that's going to happen. So that's a hit. That's a hit. I still believe that Stoutland's going to have the offensive line ready to eat, and that has been their strength from day one, of course, with Saquon Barkley. Regardless of Jalen Hurts and his performance, that is the bread and butter of this team, of this offense. It's the backbone of the operation that is not going to change, and therefore, that is my handicap. Nuts and bolts, my handicap. I'll get into exactly how I think this game is going to play out. We'll see if that's the way it does take place through 4 quarters. But again, the Eagles are a great football team. I've said this stat a number of times this week as well. Only one other team in the NFL since 1970 has owned the #1 defense overall and the #1 rusher overall in the NFL throughout the course of a regular season. 92 Cowboys and your Philadelphia Eagles. So here we are. Of course, as I said, the Commanders are playing great football, but are they a great team? On defense, they have some really good names, some win now names. Bobby Wagner, go down the list of some of those secondary players. Like, they've been making plays for them, especially down the stretch, up front. They're not a team that's going to get out there and sack the quarterback a ton, but it's a team that's playing pretty good, stout defense, if I could say it like that. So I'm looking at a pretty good defensive performance through possibly 3 quarters for the Commanders. And I just think that what we've seen time and time again in this regular season, in the 4th quarter, I don't think that's going to change. I think Saquon Barkley and the Eagles' offensive line, the play calling in general, will wear this Commanders team down through 4 quarters. And in the fourth quarter specifically, that's when they take advantage of a tired team, of a team that can't get off the field, maybe forcing Jaden Daniels into a mistake. We'll see if that's going to happen. But I am looking at right now the Eagles somewhere along the lines of hitting their average, which their average this season is 27 points per game. So 27, 28, and then somewhere around the ballpark of the Commanders, 20 to 21 points. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I feel passionate about the Eagles covering 6 points because that would be lying to you. I think that's a lot of points. But if I do think the Eagles are going to win this game, if I do think the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, damn it, I'm going to say that they're going to cover the number. One quick sour note, and we have to be realistic. I know he's made every field goal, but man, those extra points are costly. And if he just is missing, and of course I'm talking about Jake Elliott, any one of those kicks, if the Eagles surrender and say, you know what, it's 4th and 8, we got to kick the ball here. That's not surrendering. That's actually being smart, but you understand what I'm saying. He's got to convert. And if he doesn't, then of course 6 points, it's going to be really, really narrow. I think this is going to be a tight ball game. I think the Commanders are going to put up a good fight, like I said, through 3 quarters. But in that fourth quarter, I like the Eagles to pound the rock, continuing to move the chains, and ultimately Saquon Barkley possibly hitting another home run or just breaking one and continue to pick up chunks of yards, and then the Eagles find the end zone. So I will say that the Eagles will get somewhere 27, 28 points per game. I think if you were to hit me with a 27.5, I'll take the over on that. I'll take the over on 27.5. Commanders, I would take the under on 21. But again, like I said, this could be a tight ball game. I also like, as far as same game parlay, Jaden Daniels right now. See, the one thing I did pick up on this game, looking at DraftKings Sportsbook's numbers and the props, and this one specifically, normally you get, the stars and they're juiced, right? Like a guy like Saquon Barkley, Jaden Daniels, those rushing props are through the roof. 53.5 yards for Daniels on the ground today. I don't see that happening. So I like the under on 53.5. If that young man goes for over 55 yards in today's game, that's trouble. That's trouble for the Birds. But hey, he could break one, so that could be a possibility. I'm willing to take the under on 53.5. Kenny Gainwell, his number is so low. It's 8.5 yards as far as rushing is concerned. I'm not touching Saquon. You want to touch Saquon with his 125.5, knock yourself out. Like that's a little ridiculous. I heard Mike Greenberg say, you can't make that number high enough. That's all I needed to hear. I'm staying away from anything Saquon Barkley with Greeny's nasty touch on it. All right. So I'm looking at Gainwell, 8.5. Last week he had the 1 carry for 10 yards. If Saquon Barkley picks up a little bit of a knock, if he's got to get a breather, Gainwell's the go-to guy. He's shown himself. He's proved his worth. I think that they could look to Gainwell for maybe a nice 2 or 3 carry possession, maybe something in the second half, giving Saquon a breather. I don't know. But 8.5 is a very manageable number, a very reachable number. And again, he picked that up with 1 carry last week in the nasty conditions against the Rams at the link. So 8.5, I think that's worth the shot. Goddard is my guy, but the books are onto him, of course. And I know a lot of people are pitching the idea of A.J. Brown. I just don't know if there's going to be, that connection, A. B, we need to see a little bit from Jalen Hurts. I do know that there's some chemistry there with him and Goddard. The numbers are 3.5. It's pretty juiced up, but 40 yards, 4.5 was what the number was. And that was somewhere around like minus 125, minus 130, I want to say. But this one, I actually do like Goddard to go over 40 yards as far as receiving is concerned. So Goddard over 40 yards. And then if you want to take a flyer on his catches, I brought it down to 3.5. But, if you're going to go one or the other, that's fine. I'm going to go with 40 yards for Dallas Goedert. Went over that number last week. Again, I like the Commanders to keep this close. Eagles pull away in the fourth quarter and have the Eagles laying the 6 here. If you ask me a final score, I would go 47, my total. I would take the over on 46.5, which is where we're at right now. We did have some movement. Finally, this game has been holding steady at 6 and 47.5 from basically all week long. And now we're at 6 and 46.5. at noon here, just about to kick off in just a couple of hours. So good luck to you all on the Eagles and Commanders plays. Those are mine. Once again, recapping, I like the under on Daniels, 53.5, Gainwell over 8.5 rushing yards. Dallas Goedert, give me over 40 yards. And I like the Eagles -6 and over 46.5 on those games. All right, let's keep it moving. And just one more trend on this one. Jaden Daniels is trying to do something that's never been done before in championship game history. Rookie quarterbacks 0-4 ATS and straight up. Like rookie quarterbacks don't come in and win this game. And if he does, he'll be the first rookie quarterback to start a Super Bowl, which is just incredible. He's had a hell of a season, understood. But what I'm looking at right here, right now, is I think that this dream run for the Commanders comes to an end, because it is a tough environment to go into Lincoln Financial Field and win that game. Was there for the Vikings game. Thought that was going to be a decent game. No, didn't turn into be a game at all. It would turn into be a blowout. And then the 49ers, it's a tough one, but I didn't think that they were coming in and winning no matter what. Purdy was not going to win that game. So final score, give me 27-20. Final score over 46.5 at that one. All right, to the AFC Championship game, let's go. We got the Bills and the Chiefs here. That's a 6:30 kickoff. 48.5 is our total. Chiefs are favored by 1.5. This is interesting because the number went up as high as 2.5 2 days ago. Did start out about 1.5 essentially from the jump. Held steady for 2 to 3 days, as I said. Jumped up to 2.5. Was wondering what that was on Friday. Now back down to 1.5. The total held steady at 47.5 all the way up until about Friday. Friday is when we got the jump at 48.5, up a point. It's where we're at this point in time, right here, right now. What do you want from me? Like this game, come on. This is one of those games that if you sit here and tell me that, yeah, I know how this one's going to play out, the Chiefs are going to beat the Bills or the Bills are going to be the Chiefs, like, all right, cool. I could get down with you as far as taking the Chiefs at home, right? Like that's where it starts and ends for me, because nobody can do it. There's only been 2 quarterbacks that have defeated Mahomes in postseason play. Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow was able to do it. Understood. Can Josh Allen add his name to the list? Look, last week against the Texans, the Chiefs defense saved the day, right? If the Texans are able to convert on some of those special teams, big if. It's all part of the game. And if the Texans are able to get a 1 or 2 more plays versus the sacks that continue to happen, the big splash plays, I believe I heard it on Bet the Board podcast yesterday. That's the realization of it. Like, how good is this Chiefs team? It's a bend but don't break team. It's a battle-tested team. It's a team that just gets across the finish line and will win this game. I did hear people telling me that, look, they could see this game going to overtime. And if it does, then somebody's going to win by a point, because ultimately they'll be going for 2. I think that this could very well turn into what we saw in 2021 in a very strange environment. The Bills were up by double digits. I think they were up by 10 to start that game. It ended up losing 38-24. It turned into a shootout. I'd like to believe that we're going to see better defense, but how could you doubt Mahomes and Josh Allen, the 2 best players on the field? And that's where I'm at. It starts and ends with both of those guys as far as my same game parlay is concerned. But this is going to be the best game of the day. And this is a true rivalry between these 2 teams. Of course, we know the history. Josh Allen can't get past Mahomes in the playoffs. However, this year, week 11, 30-21, the Bills did beat Kansas City at home. Allen went for 262 and a touchdown and rushed for 55 and scored on the ground. Mahomes had 2 interceptions in that game, I want to say, trying to find Travis Kelce over the middle of the field, forcing it to him. So I think that the Bills are smart enough to know what needs to be done. Injuries, you got to keep your eye on Benford. He's got the concussion. I believe he's going to be able to play. We never know what the deal is with the protocol. Heard the Bills announcer, play-by-play announcer on NFL radio yesterday, said he did travel with the team. They did not elevate another corner, so I fully do expect Benford to give it a go. Rapp is their safety he have a hip injury. It did not seem like he will be playing today, so look for them to fill in at that spot. That could be an issue, maybe taking a shot down the field, a big play for Mahomes. Hollywood Brown, something if you want to take a flyer on. Worthy, the rookie, a burner, take a flyer on from a longest pass perspective. I don't have an issue with that. Again, the big time players, they'll make big time plays, but they continue to be jacked up. And Kelsey is now unreachable with his prop. And it's a good thing because you were wondering what the hell the odds makers were putting out there last week and what he was able to do against the Texas game. The Bills know that. Travis Kelsey is not beating the Buffalo Bills today. I do think Mahomes will continue to make plays with his legs, and that's where I start to look at from the jump. As far as the numbers are concerned on DraftKings Sportsbook, over 23.5 yards rushing. Love Mahomes to keep it going on the ground. I think he gets over 30 if you want to extend that. I have no issues there. Noah Gray is a guy I'm looking at, 2 to 3 receptions. I think that's a worthy play. I also think that, if you're feeling frisky, maybe take him for an anytime touchdown. Sorry, I thought I had that written down. Noah Gray touchdown scores here is plus 425. Really good payout. Again, if Kelsey's down there, I know it's going to be forced his way to a point, but at the same time, Mahomes don't care, right? So maybe he looks to the other side, looks him off, and finds Noah Gray on the other side. But I do like Noah Gray as far as receptions and anytime touchdown at 425 as far as on DraftKings Sportsbook here. Xavier Worthy, Joe Fortenbaugh brought this. Now, I've been unworthy with the rushing yards. It's really something that the Chiefs like to do. But dating back, I think Fortenbaugh said on ESPN the other day that last 20 games, 20 playoff games, a wide receiver has rushed the football for the Kansas City Chiefs. It doesn't surprise you, right? If you're watching these games, Mecole Hardman. Of course, Worthy is at the top of our minds, right? We know about the great Tyreek Hill days. So I'm looking at Worthy as far as rushing is concerned. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's going to give you 25 yards, but his prop to go over the rushing yard, I think it's 4.5 at this point in time. So one attempt, if he's able to get through the line, he gets that number. So I like that. If you're feeling a little froggy, you want to extend it, I don't have an issue. Again, I think you're going to see possible shots over the top for longest reception for Worthy or Hollywood Brown. But I like Worthy as far as rushing is concerned. I did pick this up on Bet the Board. I won't lie about that. Curtis Samuel, because over to the Bills side of things, it was just tough. I'm not going to go Shakir. I just don't think you can count on him the way that books are putting him out there, the way we talk about him in times. And I was the guy that had him on my fantasy squad this year. I paid a ton of attention to him. But when you think it's going to go his way, when he seems to be the guy, he's not a number one receiver. They spread it out really well. So I'm backing off of him, and I'm looking elsewhere. I do like Curtis Samuel. There's some numbers out there that you could find as far as receptions are concerned, over 1.5 receptions. Like I said, I stole that from Bet the Board. I did like that approach. It's a low number. They have to make plays. Who's going to do it? Is it Cooper today? He's been non-existent. So, and I can't sit here and tell you straight face Shakir's the guy. So I like Samuel. I do like that low number, that approach. I thought that was interesting. But for me personally, I think the run game gets going. So give me Cook. I think he cooks on the ground. 57.5 is his total there. Give me the over on that one. I think the run game will be effective, and it has to be effective for the Bills. Josh Allen cannot do it himself. And Josh Allen, speaking of doing it himself, I do believe he will find the end zone. Anytime touchdown at minus 115. You have to play it. The list goes on and on. You saw it last week. Anytime around that goal line, 3-4 yard line, hell, it could be even further than that. He could even break one as he did in that fourth down play earlier this season. So Josh Allen, anytime touchdown at minus 115 for me in that one. Once again, to recap, Mahomes over 23.5 yards rushing. Noah Gray, I could float an anytime touchdown there, but I'm going to be a little bit hesitant. So maybe just a little sprinkle, maybe a cup of coffee on that one. At the same time, receptions, I do like 2+ for Noah Gray. I think 3+ was a crazy, crazy number if you want to get a little crazy on that one. Xavier Worthy rushing. Take a look at his number. Again, if he gets one, he goes over that number, and they're going to give him an opportunity to make a play. They love handing the ball off to their wide receivers, getting it into their hands without passing. So I'm going to go Xavier Worthy on that one. Curtis Samuel, again, stole that one. I thought it was a good idea. If you want to pass, I have no issues there. It's just somebody has to produce for the Bills at the wide receiver position. Who will it be? Cook over 57.5 rushing yards, and Josh Allen anytime touchdown. Guys, we're looking at history. Fourth franchise to reach 3 straight Super Bowls. It's only been done 3 other times. We talked about that a lot on Friday. We're talking about some of the great teams with the Patriots, the Bills, and the Dolphins in the 70s. Chiefs are a great team. The Bills are a great team. This is going to be a great football game. I can't look you in the face and saying, oh, I like this seat. No, I gave you my plays because I think that's how the game's going to play out as far as the script is concerned, as far as the box score at the end. But if you made me make a selection right here, right now, there's no way I'm picking against the Chiefs at home. Love to see the Bills in New Orleans. And you know what? I want the best of the best. So if it's the Chiefs and the Eagles, hopefully the Commanders don't get there. I think that's going to be intriguing. But I do know this much. The Chiefs fatigue is real. And I don't think a lot of people be watching the lead up for 2 straight weeks if it's the Chiefs and the Eagles. So if it's the Bills and the Eagles, it gives us a little fresh perspective. And we know all the stories written about the Kansas City Chiefs already, like it's on the back of our hands. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a great game. If you did make me give you a play as far as the over is concerned, I think these 2 teams are going to do the dance, and I do believe you're dancing with the devil if you take the under. I'd like to believe we're going to see some defense here. 48.5. Could it stay under and we still get that banger of a game? Of course. Like I said, I'm not hell-bent on either one of those, but if you're making me make a selection on 48.5, I'll probably think it's going to end up somewhere around 44, 45, 46, somewhere in that ballpark. So I would take the under on 48.5 for the Chiefs and the Bills. But again, that's a tough one. Both games are incredible. Good luck to everybody out there on your plays. And once again, be sure to follow us on all things at Fox PHL Gambler on socials and YouTube. Subscribe, tell a friend, let them know that we are live 3 to 6 Monday through Friday. And I'll be back. Speaking of tomorrow, brand new daily ticket, 3 to 6 p.m. live in studio. John Jansen with me. Of course, we'll be mixing in some great guests. And hopefully it's not a Debbie Downer Monday. Hopefully we're talking about a trip to New Orleans with some Mardi Gras music playing for every commercial break. Yes, indeed. Good luck on those plays, everybody. Appreciate your time. Let's go.